Do you struggle in the life-work-family balance? Welcome to Leader Reach, reaching hearts and minds of leaders who reach leaders. One of the questions frequently asked by leaders like yourselves, which resonates with a question that I've always asked, is how do you balance between life and work and family and ministry and all of them going together? It seems like we could somehow separate them and compartmentalize them and see boundaries between them. In fact, great books have been written about margins and boundaries. There is some wisdom to it, but real life does not happen that way. I've got some difficult news for you before I give a suggested direction. You'll never be able to balance those 3 or 4 dimensions of your life: your personal life, your work life, and your family life. Because there's no such thing as perfect balance. You'll get it when you go to heaven, but while you're on this side of the earth, there is no such predictable, perfect balance. So I'm very sorry to disappoint you. But balancing them is more of a possibility, because there are seasons of life, there are times of pressures in one aspect, and hopefully they will not be complicated by other aspects so that all of them blow up at the same time. So an ongoing balancing act is what we would like. So instead of thinking of work-life separation, think of it as work-life overlap, of integration, all around the spiritual core. If you're spiritually healthy, the other spheres fall into their place. But do not make your spiritual core simply one of the many spheres of your existence. So have your spiritual core, and then you have spokes, whether it's personal life or family life or work life. Which means you are dynamically dependent on the leadership of God's Spirit to lead you at any given time on any issue that needs your attention, for which you must take responsibility and act. A personal recommendation to you is to simply have a notebook. This is a schoolboy's composition notebook. I wrote in it this morning, even as I was preparing to be here. I write in my scribbles, and the very front end of it, it says, please do not open until death. My wife assures me they will not open it even after I die because my handwriting is so badly. It has got my date when I started this notebook. And when I finish out with the date. It also has my email and phone number in case I lose it and somebody would be kind enough to call me and say they found the book. But this is how I approach this work-life integration balancing. 3 kinds of approaches. One is in prayerful dependence. Take the complexity of your life to God. He is the author of dissolving complexity and allowing you to segment and simplify life. Everything inside you is asking for simplicity. And since God is one and He is single, simple in His essence, He would love for you to grow into that kind of singleness and simplicity. So while life has complicated factors, many pressures, many anxieties, many responsibilities, sometimes conflict, decisions to be made, wisdom to be had, start with what I'm going to call prayerful thought. Prayerful thought. List the areas where you're sensing opportunity or tension. Write them down. After your prayerful thought, go into what I'm going to call decisive thinking. So prayerful thought and then thoughtful decision making. You have to prioritize what needs to be done today and in the next month and in the next quarter. Especially if you're running a company which has to report values every quarter, is such a difficult circumstance. So prayerful thought, thoughtful decision making. But even that's not enough. I also write decisive actions that I must take this particular day. Now, I do not want to get into time management tools and to-do lists and so on. I have them, and I will recommend them to you. You'll have to find all those things, but we're addressing the larger question spiritually, not tactically and technically, on the balancing of life, work, and family imbalance and pressure. Address them spiritually with God, who takes our complexity and simplifies them for us, gives us wisdom as to what our next action should be, and then act on them. Nobody lives a perfect life. I've lost in many, many ways, but I'm grateful that even my losses are turned into gain because of the one who's planned it all. And he can think long term while he's thinking short term, and I can only see short term. And he will bring those things to pass, even as Proverbs 3 and Psalms 37 says. You delight yourself in the Lord, go to him, ask him for the balancing act, and he'll allow it to balance. He will even create time for you, as he has done for me, just because I asked him. But I was too busy. Life was too hard. I said, Lord, would you create some time for me to get this done? He's done that before. In terms of all reality, he can do that in your life as well. So keep balancing. Don't look for perfect balance. That'll come in heaven and his own good time. Thank you for watching Leader Reach. Click on the right to watch more videos and click on the left to subscribe to our channel.